group overall, weekend is fall drills?
Well, really impressed with the group. Just their mentality in the days that they come in every single day, just trying to find ways to get better. Just seeing the competition in the room continue to rise, and guys are just competing. But very impressed with the urgency and attention to detail this guys trying to emphasize every single day. So really excited about their mentality and what they've been bringing every single day of practice.
I want to ask you about Keontae Scott. How surprising is it for a guy to show up a couple of days or however many days before the start of camp and then come out there and start making plays right away?
Well, his love for the game. Keontae is a guy that loves football, and he's a guy that as soon as he got here, every morning he shows up before trying to find ways to get extra film time, studying, but his versatility and things that he showed on film, the things that we've seen in him as a player, it's just been impactful for day one, and he's earned his respect from his peers from day one, just the way he prepared and just the way he go out there and play the game of football.
Were you worried he'd be able to make it through the first practice, like without going through some workouts with you guys or something?
No, he kind of been educated by myself and the staff and just understanding that you was going to be late, getting started from missing the summer workouts. But again, he loved football every day. He was seeing the workout videos, he's training, he's getting himself in shape, because I warned him about the heat coming from Vegas. Come out here, it's going to be hot, it's a little different, but just really been impressed with his endurance level and the things that he's been able to do on the field.
Quarterback and nickel for him?
Yeah, all the guys. I want to cross-train all the guys, but more corner and nickel for him for sure.
We obviously saw some JD in the spring. We've seen a lot more of him in fall camp. What did he do over the summer, and kind of what has he done so far in camp? It's been impressive.
No, really, JD is a guy that we expect to come in and help us early right away, and just putting him in a lot of different situations just to make sure his game grows from a football IQ standpoint. But he shows up every day. He works his butt off. He's probably one of the hardest working guys in the room, just in terms of what he's able to do. Obviously he's talented, but now it's about being a freshman, coming in and knowing the football, knowing the situation, knowing the offense, and all those things on how people are going to attack him. But been really, really impressed with him, and those guys are battling out. Him and Keontae, DK, all those guys are battling out for that nickel spot, and I've been really impressed with all of them.
DK is a guy that everybody has talked about the steps and the improvement from last year to this year. Just talk about what you've seen from him and what you're expecting of him.
Recruiting DK out of high school, I knew what he had coming in. It was great to add him from transferring from Vandy. Kind of knew of him, but that first year he was getting adjusted, transferring, trying to get a feel for everything in the style. But I don't think anybody work as hard as DK, and not just on the field, but when he come into this building, he have a pro mindset to get better. The extra studying, the things that he do to work on his game. He's doing everything. You walk into a meeting as a coach, you got to be prepared, because he wants to know what's going on all around him, and just his leadership capability. He got high energy. He goes all day, and he's just disruptive. You can put him all over the field, and he gonna have an understanding on what's going on in the scheme. And that's why his versatility and the things that he do every single day allows you to add values and be around the ball more, because he knows what's going on around him.
You guys have a lot of dudes in safety, obviously, but Kaden, what stands out about him, especially a guy in his second season with y'all?
Well, just a maturity standpoint for Kaden. Coming in as a freshman, he has a lot of talent. He has a lot of tremendous upsides to be an elite guy. He's probably one of the most athletic guys back there with his size, his speed. Very smart kid. It's just about understanding the urgency, understanding the maturity of what it takes to the game. But he's been very impressive this whole camp, getting his hands on the ball, doing things that can help us in the secondary. We're counting on him to step up.
Coach, your confidence level in Nehemiah and Jalen as your starting corners, and who else could be in the mix to see some playing time at that position?
I think Nehemiah and Jalen have took their game to another level. I've been really impressed with their work ethic, the way they attack practice every day. So they'll set the bar high in terms of what it's supposed to look like. And you count on leaders that done played a lot of ball like those guys to bring these young guys behind them. And they just setting the example. I mean, every day they come out, they put the work in, they get to the ball, they communicate, they're making plays, and the young guys see it. But they stand out. But with DJ James, who's obviously made tremendous strides from day 1 to day 2 to day 3, who continue to improve, just getting used to the style of play in the SEC and how fast it is. And A.D. Diamond has stepped up. I mean, he's improved his game a lot. I mean, the kid get a pick just about every day in terms of what he's done. But I feel like we got a really good group of guys with Jalen, Nehemiah, DJ, JD, and Keontae, and then you got AD. So you got a good group of guys that I think that we can put out there in situations to help us win. But those guys have set the tone pretty high, and guys are pushing them to continue to get better.
What have you seen early on from Austin? He's one of the new guys.
Yeah, Austin, really good. I mean, physical freak. I mean, he got the size. He's probably the most ripped up guy in the secondary. But again, he's coming from high school in the adjustment and trying to figure things out. The terminology is really what young guys usually struggle with. So he's adjusting there well, and we bounced him around from safety, nickel to corner. So really just trying to get him in position to settle in at a position. So now just really playing him at corner and then mixing here at safety in there, because we're going to count on him at some point in the season with his size and what he's able to do. And but he's coming along every single day.
Like somebody said, I mean, yeah, you got a lot of safeties, but it looks like no matter what, Zion is out there. Talk about him being healthy and what you get, because he really looks like he's moving around now.
You can't replace a guy like Zion. I mean, between him and DK, I mean, Zion really is the guy in the room that's the leader. He's a silent assassin, but he's probably the smartest guy in the room in terms of a football IQ standpoint. So guys trust him. He trusts him. He's going to get them lined up in the right spot. I trust him from, making the right checks, communication, and just to see his mobility. I mean, he's been working his tail off from a physical standpoint, been out this spring kind of with a shoulder, but got some reps here and there. But just playing his way back into shape and doing the things that he need. But he's a guy that you have to trust every single day that's going to make sure everybody's in the right position. So you can't take a guy off the field like that.
Zach, who are all the guys working at nickel?
You said what now?
Guys working at nickel right now.
All of them. I'm really, and I say that because I'm all about versatility. And guys gonna end up playing outside, but if you play corner, you gotta play nickel. I mean, Zion work at nickel, DK work at nickel, because a lot of teams nowadays are getting big personnel, 12 personnel, that you want to be able to still be in a passing situation if they spread the set. So having a big body down there is obviously something that we do. So every last one of those guys have to play the nickel position to understand what's going on. But I train them all. Nehemiah, DJ play inside. Keontae, JD, right, DK, all of them play inside. Austin plays inside. So it just adding that versatility so they understand what's going on. If we get in a pinch down the season, that guys understand what we're doing is not new to them.
This summer you guys added Craig, and I know he's had an ankle thing and maybe a little bit behind a little bit, but what does he bring to the table for you guys at safety?
Really experience. I mean, in terms of Craig, I mean, in the guys that's returning, he probably has played the most snaps in college football in terms of the safety position. So he's a guy that's been smart, obviously coming down here. He's just getting adjusted. He had coming off a little foot injury or whatnot, but he's playing his way into shape, getting better in shape, communicating. But again, it's the terminology, the things that you have to communicate with back there. So every single day you're starting to see him get comfortable around his teammates, get comfortable in the scheme. So you're seeing him do things every single day to continue to rise.
So other than yourself, who had your favorite huddle with harshest?
You said what now?
Other than yourself, who had your favorite huddle with harshest?
I honestly say I think all of them was pretty good. Really, I learned something from every single body. But listen to Cadillac just talk about his time here and how he got his nickname and things like that. Obviously, that was impressive. And then obviously, all of them had something special. And then Rock just hearing his path, and C-Rob really was more of some things that I learned and pick up on that. Him being a coach's son and been knowing the game for a long time and hearing some of his points, it was really impressive. But all of them really had something to really I learned from and took from them. So they always were impressive to me.
And then did you learn anything about yourself or about Harsh, kind of sitting down that way, you know, being vulnerable on the mic?
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of times we get away from that, but anytime you can sit down with a head coach and you can just talk about your story, you just open up, and it's not in this professional setting because we know we hit the building. I mean, it's about business, it's also about the relationships, but that was really unique to sit down and talk and just really being able to open up and share your story and being vulnerable and just learning about each other. I mean, we work too hard not to truly get to understand each other. So in order to go to battle, you need to know about the man to your left and to your right. So we make sure that we spend a lot of time, but not only just the huddle with Harsh, we do it with our team as well, the players as well. So it was a really cool experience, man, and I really enjoyed it. It was really unique.
You played on a national championship team. What sets those kinds of teams, or in that particular team, apart from teams that are just good?
Honestly, I think it's player driven. The leadership of that team and the way they united, it sets a lot of things apart because you know what that guy is doing, you know what he's been through. But if the team is player driven and you got guys that understand what we all and what we're trying to accomplish together and not guys pulling in different directions, that mentality of just knowing out there and playing with a level of confidence, but just knowing about each other. I mean, if you got a player driven team, you're unstoppable. And I think this team kind of remind me of obviously the 2009 team, and then that next year we kind of rallied together. So, and they working. I mean, they work, they show up and work. So I think that's what set things apart. Just guys just understand that in that locker room, it's really about them playing together and truly understanding what we're trying to do together as one instead of being individual.
That team had 27 seniors in 2010.
Yep.
This one's got 23 seniors.
Yep.
How important is that to get those kind of intangible things you're talking about?
It's very important. We have done so much. Coach Harsh and I had a great plan of just team building and things we've done more so this year. Obviously, COVID had a little impact on some of that, but now that we kind of back into it, guys have really bought into getting to understand each other, talking to each other, relying on each other. So it's truly important. But this team, we got a lot of seniors that want to win, and they're setting an example for what the expectation is in practice, what the expectation is in the film room, and then obviously what we're going to do on Saturday on the football field. So it's been really impressive to have guys that understand the program.
Cadillac complimented the upperclassmen leadership yesterday and said it reminded him more of the 2004 team than any of the other teams he'd coached since he got to Auburn. Are there any seniors or upperclassmen in particular that have really impressed you with the way they've led by example?
Absolutely. I mean, starting up front, I mean, Derek Hall has basically took the team under his wing, and just being able to see Tank come out of his shell and obviously just seeing that maturity level. But, you know, Derek Hall has stepped up. You got Kobe Wooden that has stepped up just in terms, but in order to be a great leader, you got to be a follower as well, right? And those guys have learned to follow Coach Harsin's vision, and then that has trickled down to the locker room. So guys have stepped up. You know, Nick Brahms, Arnold Carson, like those guys have done a lot of things to help put this team together, and they want to win. So that leadership has risen a lot from just the players. So really excited about what they do and how they put this thing together.
You suggested y'all might want to go back to the intramural field to practice.
I have. It's funny that you said, because when we first got here in Coach Harsin's first summer, we always do the 707 over there, right? So I said, Coach, this is what we did training camp at, and he was like looking around like, hey, we got to get back to the great nowadays, man. It was tough, hard-nosed. It's clean now. Back then we had little ant beds and rocks and everything out there, but it's been good though. I think the guys are still putting the work and just understanding what we're doing. But I have suggested that.
I can't imagine Coach Schmedding riding the bike like Paul Rhodes to the intramural fields.
Were you still here the year the gnats attacked, and it was like this huge swarm of gnats out there?
Yeah, I was here that year. It used to happen all the time, but yeah, that was pretty funny. Yep.
Did you mention DK? I'm sorry, go ahead.